Alrighty, here we go with the next episode, episode 11 of the I Will Never Forgive You podcast. I think you noticed the last podcast was kind of sloppy because I spent all this time putting in this music. I think it was, maybe in JoJo. I do like various anime OSTs, but it just so happened that the music I used last time had lyrics in it, and so it got blocked. And I was doing other things, so I couldn't export immediately, so it took me like an extra 6 hours or 8, 12 hours, whatever, to finally get the podcast out. And it's just so annoying. I get it, fair use. I've said I don't want people using my videos for their shit. If I made music, I wouldn't want people use my music. So it was on me. I used the wrong kind of music. I'll do a better job this time. Getting more appropriate. I think I might just start using... There's music I bought back in the day. I might just start using that for a while because I can't block myself. It's my music. I paid for it. Get out of my face. So that's how I feel about it. So I'll just do that for now. I think that's what we're going to do. I'll use some music from Dead Room for a while. So that'll be what you hear this episode. So anyway, promotion on Tier 3 right now. You would have gotten... I'm recording this at 1 a.m. Wednesday. I keep wanting the actual podcast episode to be early access. It's not going to be. But at least the feedback's been in early access. I put that out on Monday. I've already got a bunch of comments and stuff. And so the feedback video is 3 hours, as you've seen, because it'll be released same time this one is. But you could have gotten that a couple of days early. And then also, you're just supporting the podcast. Basically, I'm going to look at Tier 3. If I see a bunch of people on Tier 3, that lets me know they're supporting the podcast. Because otherwise, you'd just be at Tier 2, where you get early access. Or you'd be at Tier 3.5, where you get super early access. You get shit way early. Like right now, if you're on Tier 3.5, you would be able to watch my reaction to One Piece episode 1136 a week and a half early. Because I just recorded it. It's going on super early access today. And it'll be a week from Sunday before the people on Tier 2 get a chance to check that out. I bring that up because we're going to be talking about that in a minute. It's maybe the greatest episode of anime I've ever seen in my life. It was really, really good. It's how would you define great? It's pure characters, great storytelling. The direction was perfect. Music was just phenomenal. I'm kind of bleeding my genres here. Let me finish promotion here real quick. Also, for Tier 3, you would have gotten in-video reactions to the 4 videos I released on last Sunday. You would have gotten some of those early. Every month, I'm going to do something, some exclusive content. So those reactions feel low effort. I'm not doing reactions for September. I'm going to do something else for September. Some kind of an essay reaction or something that's not me just reacting to a show, because that's the easiest low effort thing. My biggest problem was I was behind. I was a month behind in providing content. So now I have time to work ahead. So I'm going to work ahead and, get something ready for September that's not the low effort shit. So next September will be better. So if you want to wait till September to jump on to Tier 3, that's fine. Just it helps me keep doing the podcast. The podcast gets more and more time consuming every 2 weeks. So anyway, that's promotion. Let's get to the anime episode highlights. Man, One Piece 1136, Kuma's life. Brilliant, absolutely brilliant storytelling. And I talked about this during my reaction. I'm also here's another thing that even people on early access won't see for a while. I guess they'll see this Sunday. You'll see it on super early access. But also, you won't see it on YouTube for a while, because I think today we'll be releasing 1103. Well, starting with 1132, I'm doing Q&As for each episode, and I'm doing rewinds, where after I do my reaction, I go back through scene by scene and give more thoughts, more context, pick up lines I missed, pick up nuance I missed, pose questions, do theory crafting. So far, let me see. So far, the rewinds, which includes a Q&A. Q&A plus rewind have been an hour long, an hour 26, an hour 22, an hour and 7 minutes. The last one was an hour and 7 minutes. That was for 11:35. The one that I just finished recording before I started this podcast for 11:36 will probably be about an hour. The Q&A was a little shorter. But typically the Q&A's last about a half hour, and rewinds last about a half hour, but some of them longer. So from starting with 1132 with One Piece, you get the reaction and a companion video side by side will be released with each episode. So the companion video will be a Q&A before I watch a reaction. So I do a Q&A. I answer every single comment from the previous episode. Then I watch the episode. Then I come back and do a rewind. So the companion video is like half Q&A where all the previous episodes comments, and then it'll be half of just rewinding the episode I just watched. People seem to have been liking it. People seem to enjoy it, and I really enjoy it. I really like this new format. It's a way to really dig into the series. I kind of wish I'd done the whole series this way, but somebody pointed this out in the comments. I would only be on episode 300 if I was doing it this way. So there is a limit to how much of me people want to see. I'm clearly, right? So I don't know if they want 1139, 1140 now, because I think 1140 just came out. 1140 times a 22-minute reaction times an hour-long companion video. That's 1140 hours. Plus the reaction videos. So it's 1140 plus another 400 hours of reactions. Then the podcast, we're up to 11. So that's, we're almost at 100 hours of podcast. The way this shit's going, right? 10, well, I guess not. 10 times 3 hours would be 30 hours. So we're not quite there yet. But there's a limit to how much people want to see me talk. So there's definitely a limit to how much people want to see me answer questions. So probably best I start at 11:32. But moving forward, that's what we're going to be doing. And it'll be really good once we get to the weekly format. It comes out Sunday morning. I think by Monday morning I will have turned it around, and every Monday morning people get a new One Piece episode, a new companion video. That's how we're going to do it. So as I said during the rewind, I even said it during the reaction for 1136, this wasn't an information-heavy episode, even though we got some interesting information. Mostly what we got was context. We got a lot of context for what we already knew, rather than new information. There was a lot of context, but really, it was an emotional episode. This episode is about the emotion. Usually for the rewind, for each minute of video, I typically talk for 2 to 3 minutes. This one was much less because the last 8 minutes is just emotions. No new information. It's just scenes we've already seen. Just playing through the scenes. He's flashing through his life. And there's a little bit of stuff that's happening in the future where Vegapunk's about to turn his brain off, and just the music, it was absolutely gorgeous. Like I said, one of the best viewing experiences I've ever had. But there's not a lot to analyze there. It's just emotion. So it wasn't an information-heavy episode. It wasn't an action-heavy episode. It was an emotion-heavy episode. And the show kind of has those three. You can have an action-heavy episode. You can have a information-heavy episode. Maybe a comedy-heavy episode every now and then. Not so much lately, but you can do that. Or an emotional heavy episode. This was definitely an emotion heavy episode. This is crazy. So yeah, this is the best piece of anime I've seen in quite a while. And I just watched Fate Zero episode 22. There's only 25 in the season, right? And I just watched 22, and that had some crazy shit happening. And that was gonna be on my list. And then I think I've replaced my favorite anime episode of the past 2 weeks 4 times. I've replaced it more this 2 weeks than I have ever. There was a Gentama episode that was on there at one point, and there was a Boruto episode that was on there at one point, and One Piece came in right before the buzzer and snatched away. And if I'd watched this, if this had been the first thing I'd watched 2 weeks ago, it would still be on here. Nothing's topping this for a while. This is the highest rated thing I'll have for a long time, unless the next episode is just as awesome. So that's my One Piece update, which will double as the anime episode highlight. So let's get into the main topic. Rage quitting anime. Now, I was hoping people were going to tell me about the times they have done that. And I am foiled again, because I don't think anybody mentioned any times they've done it. Oh, yeah, there was also a JoJo episode. The last couple episodes of the Stardust Crusaders were phenomenal. phenomenal. They're really powerful stuff. That they were on my list at one point. I think it was 46 and 47. We're going to both be on there as a combined, like, on my list. And it just got beat out at the very end. By the way, congrats to Hunter Stone for winning the F-Bomb contest for the feedback video. He still has a chance to win in this video. We'll see what happens. The funny thing was, I kind of figured he won while I was recording because I happened to see what he put out there as a guess. But I wasn't quite sure because I wasn't sure how I was going to edit down. And it edited it down perfectly. He was within 5 minutes. We're going to keep it at 5 minutes for now. If people start winning every week, I'll dial it back to 3 minutes. It's constantly adjusting. I don't want you winning every week, and I don't want you never winning. So we're going to try to find a sweet spot in between. It's kind of like a betting line in Vegas, right? They don't want everybody betting on the Colts, and they don't want everybody betting on the Patriots, right? They want 50% on one side and 50% on the other side because they make their money in the VIG. They don't make their money when people win or lose. They make their money on that $10 or 10% of whatever the VIG that the loser pays. The person, if you bet $100, you actually pay $110. That $10 goes to the casino. That's how they make their money. They don't make their money on people winning and losing. So they want the best to be exactly even, right in the middle. Half on one side, half on the other side. That's what the betting line's for. So if it's Colts getting 10 points, everybody thinks the Colts are going to lose and get their asses kicked. So you got to give 10 points to put that number in the middle. 50% on each side, right? And as the week goes along, on Monday you'll be Colts minus 10. By Wednesday it may be Colts minus 14 because everybody's still betting on Patriots minus 10. Or plus 10 or whatever. Actually, I had it backwards. If it's Colts minus 10, everybody thinks the Colts are going to win. If it's Colts plus 10 is what I meant to say. Colts plus 10, everybody thinks that they're going to lose. If by Wednesday everybody's still betting on them to lose, they'll move it to Colts plus 14. Because you ain't going to give up 14 points. If everybody's still betting on the Patriots, you move it to Colts plus 17 or 20 or whatever it is. They will keep adding points until the number's right in the middle. 50% on one side, 50% on the other side. That's what I'm going to do at this time. I want it in the middle. Preferably, I would like somebody to win every 2 or 3 podcasts. Not every one, because I can't do that many extra reactions. But every 2 to 3 podcasts would be the perfect amount. So if they're winning less than that, I will add time. If they're winning more than that, I will subtract time. So that's how it'll work. Guess I didn't ask. I thought I asked. Have you ever rage quit in it? No, I guess not. I thought I had done a post to do that. I dropped the ball there. So I was blaming you guys for not getting any answers. Yeah, nobody mentioned what they've rage quit. So I guess I will just talk about what I rage quit. You know the answer. You know what I rage quit. Death Note. Man, did that series suck ass. I know you're going to do this, so I'm going to do this. But you know that I know you're going to do this, and then I'm going to do this, so I'm going to do that. You know, it's like, I know you're watching me, so I can't indicate that I know you're watching me. But I know you're watching me, and you know that I know you're watching me. So why can't at that point that I just indicate? You know, it's just, and the biggest problem, it wasn't just the whole F-a-row of, I know this, so I'm going to do this, but then you know this. It's the poison cup scenario. I have 2 cups in my hand. I want to poison you and kill you. And you know I do. So I have 2 cups in my hand. One of them has poison in them, and one of them doesn't. We're both going to drink at the same time. I offer one of the cups to you. Now, you know that I want to poison you. And I know that you know that I want to poison you. So when I put the poison in the cup I offer you, if I think you're a moron, yes, I would. Since you know that I want to poison you, and you know that I know that you know that I want to poison you, maybe I would put in the other cup thinking that you won't take the cup I offer, you'll take the other cup. But what if I know that too? Then I would just put it in the first cup. But then what if you know that I would put it in the first cup, so then you reach for the second cup? But what if I knew that you knew that I knew that you knew that I knew that you knew that I knew? Like, you can do that till the end of the time, man. The heat death of the universe. What if you know that I knew, or what if you know that I knew? It's the most boring problem in fiction. It's tedious. Nobody wants to see that. It's the 2 guys at the door. After you. No, after you, after you, after you. Just walk through the goddamn door. Just take a damn glass and take 50% chance of you dying. You know, it's paralysis by analysis. But they go even further than that. Not only is that boring, they go even further than that, and they're never wrong. Either one of them. There's two super geniuses playing chess with the rest of the world. They're never wrong. Neither one of them. They're never wrong, man. How are you never wrong? I guess that's your superpower. We got people in other anime that can fly. People in other anime that's like full counter. You know, any magic power sent to me gets sent back right in your face. We got Merlin who can do whatever the hell, anything she needs to do, she can pull that shit out of her ass and do it. She's so powerful. You know, and then we've got people who can time travel. On My Hero Academia, we've got invisible people and, you know, All Might. And, you know, it's a power you can give to somebody by, here, underage child, take my DNA into your mouth and swallow it. But don't tell your mom. We've got that going on. Like, so we've got all kinds of ridiculous scenarios throughout anime. Why is it this is one thing I have a problem with? Why can't they have the power to never be wrong? Well, mainly because it's boring, man. It's boring when a character has no flaws. They're infallible. And both of them are infallible, so who gives a shit who wins and loses? Like, that is the only thing I've ever rage quit. I didn't rage quit Avatar. I was bored with Avatar, and I was like, this ain't for me, and the views were trash. It's always going to be some kind of combination. I think the views for Death Note were actually pretty decent. I would check, but it's on the other channel. I think they were actually decent. But man, I couldn't watch another episode. I remember I ranted about this. And I was like, well, I guess I'm watching more next week. And I was like, I never got back around to it because I just didn't want to do it. And then eventually, after a couple weeks, I was like, yeah, I'm done. So I guess I didn't rage quit. But it's the closest to rage quitting I've ever done. Man, F this. I have rage quit Civilization 5 many times. It helps keep me on schedule here, you know. There'll be a good game going. This happened to me earlier today. I was going to play for an hour. Whenever I start playing, I look at the clock. All right, it's like 7 o'clock. I'll play till 8 o'clock. And that's it. I'm done. Whenever 8 o'clock rolls around, I'm done. Man, I got about like 30 minutes into it. And 3 different civilizations declare war on me at the same time. Like, I had enough forces to repel one of these effers. One of them, and 3. And it wasn't just any 3, man. We're talking about the Mongols, the Romans, and the Greeks. And this is ancient era, so like, you know, the Greeks now aren't that scary, but this is ancient era. So the Greeks got companion cavalry and hoplites. The Mongols, they got hordes because they're Mongol hordes. And the goddamn Romans, they already got the what is that special kind of catapult they had? Ballista. They had the ballista, and they had the effing legions. So those are like their special units, right? So you're dealing with everybody's special units except for the Mongols, and they just had the power of numbers because of hordes. Anytime you get invaded by Roman legions and ballistas, companion cavalry and hoplites from the Greeks, and then Mongol hordes all at the same time, you're going to get your ass handed to you. Like, I didn't have enough to... Like, I had a great setup, man. I had 2 natural wonders and shit, and just, you know, I was in like Flynn. I had 1 natural wonder that's a mountain that gives you 10 gold per turn. And the other natural wonder was you get 2 food and 6 faith per turn. Set up, man. I was the Arabs. I already had some of the little chariots out there. Chariot cavalry, whatever. And I was doing good, man. I was starting to make some money. My faith, I already had a full religion with enhanced religion and all that shit. I was doing great, man. Half-hour play, I was in like Flynn. I was doing fantastic. And these cocksuckers come in from everywhere, man. All points of the compass. West, north, and east. All at the same time. Collaborating assholes. And I was like, that's some shit I rage quit. I was like, man, F this game. I was only half an hour into what was supposed to be an hour of leisure. F this game. Went and watched some Phase Zero. You know, so, I mean, I got an extra episode of Phase Zero I wouldn't have got in. But I'm still mad. That's a rage quit. It's like, F you. Like, here's the thing, too, man. Here's what they don't realize. They cease to exist if I rage quit these civilizations. They don't exist anymore. I will never turn that game back on. I'm not reclaiming that save and starting from that point. They died. Them invading me when they did means they all die instantly. They will never have another breath of life. Because I rage quit and I will never turn that game back on. So that's what you get. That's what happens when you're just going to be all greedy and trying to divide me into 3 pieces. Collaborating with your stupid ass allies. I don't even think they were in the same side. They were just, hey man, this looks good. Let's invade this asshole. That was a rage quit. So that wasn't really the scenario with Death Note. I wasn't that mad. I was just bored and irritated. And the fact that I keep talking about it means I'm pretty goddamn irritated. It was just annoying, man. Why does anybody like this shit? What am I missing? You know, and here's the thing. It had some good storytelling. That's probably what I am missing. There was a great story where, like, the wife of an FBI agent was with him, and they were talking. It seemed like they were having a connection. He thought it might lead somewhere, and then he just kills her. It was like, God damn, man, that was really good shit. Great storytelling. But it's not that I hate, like, it, psychopathic antagonists. We had that on, there was that one short miniseries somebody had me watch, where it's like alien technology fuses with the guy and also fuses with this boy. And the boy's a psychopath. He goes around killing people, uses the power to kill people. It's not that I hate a psychopathic antagonist. That's not it. Because this dude in Death Note's a psychopath. It's that the perfection was what was annoying. So that's a concrete example. So let's delve into this a little bit. What causes a rage quit? Now, we're not talking about just, I'm bored, I quit. We're talking about rage quit. We're talking about, I hate you. I never want to see you again. And I can't stop talking about how much I hate you. Right? And we're also not talking about finished it but hate it. Like with Game of Thrones, I finished it but hate it. Battlestar Galactica, I finished it but hate it. We're not talking about that shit. We're talking about rage quit. I rage quit Bones. The series Bones. It was middle of the 4th season. And the reason I rage quit it was the guy who played Angel, David Boreanaz or whatever his name is, plays a FBI agent, right? And he investigates homicides. The only thing about, why would an FBI agent investigate homicides? He was FBI, right? I guess it was like federal. I guess it was like homicides on federal land or something. You know, federal offices, that kind of shit. So, yeah, I guess that's what it was. So that's why the FBI was involved. Anyway, it was a procedural show, so it was a murder of the week, right? You know, each week there's a murder, and they got to figure out who the person is, and you don't know till the unmasking in the final act, right? And what I ended up just getting really super tired of and hating in the series was, Booth is his name. He's the FBI agent. Here's how he investigated murder. Walks in the room, and maybe he has to interview, like, there's 4 witnesses. 4 people were in the building. One of them could have been the murderer, okay? 4 people were in the building when the person died. He goes up to the first person. So, why'd you kill him? What are you talking about? I didn't kill him. Yeah, well, you know, he was screwing your wife. So, because he was screwing your wife, you killed him, right? No, I didn't kill him. Okay, goes to the next person. So, why'd you kill him? What are you talking about? I didn't kill him. Well, you know, it wasn't even that. It wasn't even like he already had prior knowledge. It was he would interview the person, find out information, and then use that information against them to accuse them of murder. And this is everybody. Everybody this sumbitch encounters, he instantly accuses them of murder. This is his investigative technique. It'd be okay. So the interview would kind of go like this. He goes in and says, all right, so how did you know the victim? Well, the victim and my wife were pretty close. How close? Well, I guess I might as well admit it to you. They were having an affair. So, that's why you killed him, because they were having an affair. This is the level of discourse. This is his level of investigation. Then he goes to the next person. So, how did you know the victim? We worked together for a couple of years, but we stopped working together 6 months ago. Why? Well, you'll see this in the report anyway, my personal file. I filed a sexual harassment suit against him. So, that's why you killed him, because the sexual harassment suit got thrown out, right? And just every single person he encounters, he immediately accuses them of murder and makes them justify why they didn't kill the person. They have to come up with a reason why they didn't kill him. And someone will be like, oh, it was a three-way. Like, I didn't care that she was screwing around. I was screwing around too, or whatever, right? Like, they had to come up with some rationale. It was like, okay, well, I guess you didn't do it then. It was every goddamn episode, man. The same shit every time. And it's the shittiest way to investigate. I've watched a lot of investigations on a lot of different shows. I've never seen this before or since. That's all he did, man. He was a lumbering moron. This man couldn't investigate his way out of a wet paper sack. He couldn't put two and two together if they were sitting right in front of him and he had a calculator in his hand. He never strung it. It was always just random accusations until somebody couldn't prove why they didn't kill him. Oh, he must be the person. And then you had a scientific partner. She would come up with some scientific shit. That's who did it. Okay. Wow. Beyond tedious. And the thing was, I liked the characters. The characters were interesting. Now, they made a bunch of other choices that also contributed to this. And this is what I think we will find when we really dig into this. It is annoyance, 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 big annoyance, rage quit. There are other things that annoyed you that you put up with until you get to the big annoyance, and then you're like, F this show. I'm done. I've had enough. I can't take it anymore. So it's never just the first thing. Like, I'm talking about this, the way he investigates. That's not the only reason, okay? There was others. There was the fact that after season 1, they got rid of the boss in the dumbest ass way possible. This is a Smithsonian Institute, and it's like a research facility inside the Smithsonian Museum, right? So they're like a working lab, and you've got Bones and her team, her scientific team. They have a boss in the first season. It was a really charming, personable guy. I don't know why they got rid of him after the first season. Some reason the showrunners didn't like him. So they get rid of him and they bring in another person to basically have the same job. But here's what's really annoying about that. The new person they brought in was like really aggro, and the other guy was kind of personable, and maybe they just wanted a different character who could get in people's faces and cause conflict. She was a lot more up their ass. So she was kind of annoying, where he was kind of like a get-along friend, He never got up their ass. He always protected them. I guess there wasn't enough conflict, so I guess I can kind of see this. But here's the thing. The writers are cowards. So, the beginning of season 2, he just doesn't come back. They explain his absence. He went on sabbatical. Now, he is a professor. He's their boss, but he's also a professor. Professors go on sabbatical to write books and shit. So they may be gone for a year, maybe 2. So, he went on sabbatical at the beginning of season 2. And stayed on sabbatical until... Now, I did rage quit in season 4, but I've since investigated certain things about this series just to find out how bad it got. Went to Reddit, and somebody brought this up. They never did any... They never explained, never mentioned him again. He went on sabbatical and didn't come back from sabbatical when the series ended in 15th season. This sumbitch was on a 14-year sabbatical. Never talked about the fact he ultimately quit his job and didn't come back. She was a temporary replacement. He was on sabbatical, and then he just never addressed it again. Here's the new status quo. Like it or lump it. That's just that's really cowardly storytelling. Just fire his ass. Like what, man? I guess they wanted the opportunity to bring him back. They never brought him back. Then, in season 3 or 4 or something like that, I may have rage quit in season 5. I can't remember now. Something like that. I think it was probably season 4, maybe season 3. They bring in a therapist. His name is Sweets. And this sumbitch, man, was the most annoying character, one of the most annoying characters I've ever seen in my life. Imagine that asshole from the first 2 Mummy movies. The brother or whatever, the little conniving, cowardly, craven, skinny ass, punk ass dude. Comedy relief. Massive air quote comedy relief. Douchebag. Imagine him, but 1,000 times worse. That's Sweets. Super, super irritating. And created this interminable series of like therapy sessions between Booth, Bones, and Sweets, right? 3 of the stupidest names I've ever heard. Booth, Bones, and Sweets. the hell is this? Is this a Broadway show from the 50s, or is this burlesque? Is this the Moulin Rouge? These characters were in the Moulin Rouge. What the hell are they doing on this modern show? I don't know. It's stupid. That's beside the point. He was super annoying. I hated it. I hate all the scenes. They're playing for comic relief, and he just wouldn't go away. They teased us a couple times. Okay, well, I guess you guys are done with therapy. I'll leave and go to another city. And then he doesn't. He changed his mind because they love him. The fans love him. Apparently he dies at some point. Spoiler alert. You should never watch the series, so I don't feel bad. If I spoiled you, good. Stop watching. But he died at some point. Everybody's mad about that. Good. I wasn't watching another 5-6 seasons before he died, but good. I'm glad he died. F that dude. So there was replacing boss for no reason with a more irritating, more annoying version of him. Cowardly not explaining why he left. Then, they did a bizarre character choice in season 3. I won't get into it because it's already too long talking about a show that's not anime. But they do that. So then they bring in this therapist. Super annoying. Sucks all the energy out of every scene he's in. Then I became aware. It took a while for me to become aware of the pattern. It was probably because I was annoyed by the other shit. I started to notice the pattern. He's just, hey, so why'd you kill him? 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 Like, no actual police officer or any kind of detective or FBI agent. This is not how they investigate crimes. They accumulate all the information first. We interview you, and you, and you, and you, and you. They don't even have a hypothesis. They don't have a theory for who did it until they collect all the evidence. Why the hell would you have a theory for who killed the person on the first interview? You haven't interviewed the other 5 people. The forensics report hasn't come back. Who the hell has a goddamn theory halfway through the first interview? You must have done it. You haven't talked to these other people. The other person could have been found with drenched in blood, looking like Dexter coming out of the cargo container, man. They could have a blog called "I'm Gonna Kill This Son of a Bitch" with the victim's face on it. They could have a "I Did It" t-shirt holding O.J. Simpson's "If I Did It" book. The third person you interview could be all that, and you're accusing this person to do because you can't get through all the interviews first. The hell are you doing, man? Nobody investigates this way. You collect all the information first. You do all the interviews. You look at forensics evidence. Then you bring them back in for a second interview. Okay, these 3 people are sus. Then you bring them back in for a second interview. Maybe at that point, you don't even say, so you killed him because, and this is literally how you do it. So you killed him because you were mad about your wife. Not, can you explain why we shouldn't think that that's a strong motive for murder? Something like that, right? I could be wrong. I don't think you can sue cops. But there's got to be some liability at some point when you're just accusing people of murder when you ain't even done all your investigation yet. You're 5% into your investigation, and you're throwing out an accusation like that. That can't be legal. And nobody ever does that, man. This sumbitch is doing this shit. Just, my God, that was annoying. So finally I said, F this, man. F this show. So I did that. F that show. I also rage quit. What was that? What was that Chuck Norris TV series where he was a cop? Was it Texas Rangers or something? Johnny Walker, Texas Ranger or some shit. I think that was a whiskey bottle. That was a Texas Ranger. I don't know. Whatever that was. I rage quit that show. And get this. When was that show on? I'll tell you. I'll find out my exact age when I watched it because I was young as hell. Apparently it's just called Walker, Texas Ranger. There is no first name. Wild. Oh, shit, I was older than I thought. Started in 93 and ran for 9 seasons. So, probably 96. Shit. Hey, I thought I was a teenager. You know how funny memory is. That's why I'm doing more fact-checking these days. A lot of times, man, I'll have the details wrong. I'll say, yeah, I was 20. This shit happened. That happened. And then it turned out I was 22. And it was a completely different state or some shit. I mean, what happened is still there. Like, I remember what happened. It's just the framing details are going to be off. I've noticed that sometimes I'll be editing videos. Like, wait a minute, it wasn't then. It was then. It doesn't matter. I don't put a correction. It's like, whatever. They don't care if it's 90 or 92. But I'll notice it, though. So I'm trying to do more fact-checking these days. Because I would have said anything that I was watching that shit when I was like 15 or 16. I was way older. But anyway, so I watched about 2 or 3 seasons of that series. I like Chuck Norris. I like action. But I got sick of the fact that every single episode he would beat the dog shit out of these prisoners, man. He would arrest somebody and beat the shit out of him until they told him what he needed to know to solve the crime. Like, and never had any ramifications for this. Never had any consequences. Like, some of these, they were all criminals. The show made it clear these are criminals, but criminals still have rights, man. I'm not even like some big tree hugging, burn the prisons down, like, free all criminals kind of dude, man. But, like, goddamn, man. Like, just beating the dog shit out of them, man. He would be in cuffs, man. He'd cuff them and just start stroking. Just start beating the hell out of them until they tell him where the partner is who's about to kill the sheriff or whatever, kill the mayor. Okay, he's in the downtown park. As he's laying there, his brains all over the floor, his teeth in the next room, blood all over the place. It's going to cost $5 million of facial reconstruction surgery. He'll never be able to walk again. He sure as hell will never shit right again. Because Walker, Texas Ranger, has just completely disintegrated half of this dude's bones, man. Just brutally tenderized his ass. Just beat the hell out of them, man. It's just every goddamn episode. Now, it wasn't every single person he arrested, but at least once an episode, he was Jack Bauer. And at least they were terrorists, man. And even that got uncomfortable after a while, right? They started pushing the envelope there. I like 24, I like Jack Bauer, but like, and they even started dialing it back after that. They reached a point where it's like, okay. They even show it not working sometimes and shit. So, but at least they were like trying to nuke a city. Like, there's a spectrum here. Robbing a bank, nuking Los Angeles, okay? If you nuke Los Angeles, I'm okay. If you're trying to nuke Los Angeles, I'm okay with Jack Bauer tearing you apart to get the information. I'm okay with that. You robbed a bank and they want to find the other person who robbed the bank? Or even if you're trying to prevent the mayor's murder, man. You can't do that. You think the mentalist push you off? He just tricked people. This dude is putting people in wheelchairs, man. They will never walk again. He was beating it like, you think I'm exaggerating? He was beating the dog shit out of these people, man. He was stomping ass. And they were handcuffed. They had given up. They had submitted to law enforcement and were in custody. And he had beat the dog shit out of them. God damn, man. Like, so yeah, I rage quit. Like there was 6 seasons I never saw. I was like, man, I'm sick of this shit every single. I never had any consequences. Just got tired of watching it, man. So I rage quit that. I rage quit Bones. So I can't remember what else is going on with that show. I'm sure there must have been other things. I don't remember the details now. That was a really long time ago, over 30 years. But I wonder if they did a remake. That idiot from Supernatural, the bad actor of the two actors. The asshole. Raging narcissist, whatever the hell his name is. There was 2 brothers in Supernatural, the good one and then the raging narcissist. He went on to do a reboot, Walker, Texas Ranger. I wonder if he tortured people in that one. Probably not. I mean, we've come a long way in 30 years. So it might have actually been watchable if he wasn't the lead. But anyway, I don't remember if there were aggravating circumstances. I'm sure there were. Because I think what we're going to find here is to rage quit something. We're not, like I said, we're not talking about you're so bored. There is a level beyond your bored. Like the show has actually pissed you off. Somehow, some kind of way. Now, for me, it's like a lot of times it's just systemic things. It's like they're doing this thing I don't like and they're going to keep doing it. Scrubs. Like, I want to get back into Scrubs. I might at some point. But I'll be honest with you, man. This Bambi shit just got, every time it happened, it got more annoying. Calling him Bambi. I couldn't take it anymore. You'll notice there's a commonality with me. I hate derogatory nicknames. Guess what happened to me when I was growing up? Here's the thing. One of my biggest shames, also I'm kind of proud of at the same time, so I'm a raging hypocrite, like big hypocrite here. Come on now, I am. This bully beat the shit out of me. But I got him back. I'm talking about sport, but I got him back in the worst way possible. Okay, he was bigger than me. He was a big dude. He was shaped kind of weird. He didn't have much hair, and I don't know what was going on with that. I think it might have been a choice. Maybe he just thought he looked good with really short hair, and then his body just kind of went out. He had big, strong arms. I could tell because he was knocking me into walls and lockers and shit. But he also just had a lot of fat. But then he had really skinny legs, right? So he was funny built, right? Like he had big arms, a huge belly that kind of went out on both sides and everything, and then the skinny legs, right? And the only thing he ever talked about was TV. And this was back in the 80s when there was only 3 channels, right? It's not like now where like there's so many things to watch and so many things going on, and we got Epic TV and you got Appointment TV and you got Viral TV and shit. He just talked about TV constantly all the time. You know, and also there was something about, there was one class where like he was in charge of the TV. Like we always thought it was kind of funny that the TV obsessed guy was in charge of TV. Like anytime you would play a movie or something, he had gotten in good with the teacher and she let him do it, right? So he looks like a potato, and all he talks about is TV. So I called him Couch Potato, right? And so he had just finished beating my ass. I said, yeah, you beat me up, but you'll always be a couch potato. You look like a couch potato, and you are a couch potato. That's what you are, right? I said this really loud, and there's a bunch of people in the hallway. Everybody had been looking at the fight. And people just lost it. It was pandemonium, man. There was something, it was so perfect. I don't even know where this shit came from, but it was so perfect that he looked like a potato, and he was a couch potato, and all he talked about was TV. And that was couch potato was a big kind of thing back then, right? Like I don't know if it's popular in the vernacular anymore, but like it was back then. And it just went through the school like wildfire. By the next day, everybody was calling him couch potato. People were drawing couch potatoes on the chalkboard, and nobody liked this so much. Nobody liked because he was a bully. He was beating people up, taking people's lunch money and shit. And just if you didn't like a show, I think that's how I got on his bad side. I can't remember. I probably shit talked a show he liked, right? He took that shit seriously. Just he couldn't get away from it, man. It was everywhere in his face, and that's the power of derogatory nicknames. The power of derogatory nicknames, if they catch fire, if they capture people's imagination, it's never going away. You are never getting rid of that shit. You have to fake your death, go to another country, make up a new name, and never talk or think about the past ever. That's the only way you get rid of a derogatory nickname. That's why you got these idiots telling people what their derogatory nickname is when they get into a new situation. Yeah, my name's Mikey, but they called me Dickface back in school. Well, guess what's going to happen? Why would, like, Jack Bauer, speaking of him, couldn't have got that information out of me. That would have never told anybody what my derogatory ass nickname was. So the fact that happens, that's one of my biggest annoyances with My Hero Academia, is that he took on the name a bully had given him. Really, so yes, I have a big thing, a trigger is derogatory nicknames. I was called all kinds of derogatory nicknames. The funny thing was, the bullies would call me this shit. It'd be all kinds of shit, because I was skinny back then. Poindexter, my name is Dexter, so Poindexter, that was a big deal. Nerd, of course. Four Eyes was a big one, you know, because kids have great imaginations. They think of original shit, original insults and shit, you know. So they would call me these derogatory ass nicknames, but it never caught on. Nobody else, like, aside from the bullies, would ever say it. Like, each bully would have his own thing he'd call me, and they would use it, but that was as far as it got. When I used that couch potato shit, that shit spread like a virus, man. It was everywhere. People I had never seen in my life. I've never seen that kid before in my life. Why the hell are they in this school building? I've never seen them. People I had never seen were calling him couch potato. He had to move schools. Now, I don't know. It was like 2 weeks he was gone and never came back. I don't know what happened. I don't know if he went to prison because the way this guy moved and operated, that wouldn't surprise me. I think we would have heard if he had killed himself. I think I remember hearing he was just transferred to a different school. Like, I think his parents were separated, of course, so he just went to live with his dad so he could go to that school system. I don't know if it might have been because of what I did. the nickname. He couldn't get away from it, and he hated it. The first day or two, he was punching people out for using it, but it was everybody. It was too many people, and eventually one of the adults was going to notice he's kicking ass all over the school. They didn't have cameras in school back then. He couldn't beat up everybody, and everybody was using it. Everybody hated him, and they was just in his face about it. So I hate derogatory nicknames, and I gave one to somebody and may have run them off made them change their living arrangements to get away from that shit. I only hope and pray it followed him over there. It only takes one kid going over to that school and they tell everybody and that's it. It's on. F him, man. He was a bully. But, yes, big hypocrite. I am a hypocrite. But yes, I hate the derogatory nicknames. So anyway, we're talking about scrubs. And yes, nicknames are a trigger. I hate derogatory ass nicknames. It takes me back to my childhood, makes me feel bad, and probably reminds me of how much of a hypocrite I am because I gave one to somebody. I do feel bad about that. F him, he was a bully, but that's just what I tell myself to not feel so bad. It was a shitty thing to do. He's a kid just like me. But he had just beaten me up. So, I can't get through talking about my guilt, without also saying, but this. So, you can tell I have mixed feelings. But the Bambi thing on Scrubs, man, every time they used it, it got more and more annoying. I just couldn't do it anymore. Otherwise, I liked the show. So, that's only one thing. I didn't rage quit. I quit because I was tired of it. Because here's the thing. There was 10, 12 new student doctors when he came in, whatever his actual name was. There was a bunch of them. There was like at least six, maybe more. 6, 8, 10, something like that. Why is he the rookie? Why is he the Bambi? She called him Bambi originally because he was just new to everything, right? Well, so were the other 7 people that came in. We all came in here together. We're all just as new. Why are you singling my ass out with the Bambi shit? I just wouldn't put up with that, man. Look, if you call me Bambi one more time, I'm never speaking to you again, even in an official capacity. The patient will die because I won't talk to you. Like, that's how strongly I feel about this shit. You're not going to give me a goddamn derogatory-ass nickname and have me accept it. You can use it. I'm not going to whip your ass, but you ain't getting jack shit from me. You can be on fire and I wouldn't piss on you. I feel very strongly about that shit. Like, I just, I don't know. I feel really strongly about that shit. It's one of my biggest triggers. Because that just seemed to happen so much growing up. So, it's weird how something that small and that stupid can color how you enjoy a show. But it also just felt so unfair. Like, I literally don't understand the logic of there being 8 new people. And the name they give him could have applied to any of the 8, but it only goes to him. I know he's the main character. So maybe that's all it is. But I hate it. Like, it just I couldn't do it anymore. So that's why I stopped watching that crap. I just can't do it. I want to get back to it at some point, but, like, it was ruining the reactions, so I would just start ranting about it. Like, and people were telling me, look, the Bambi thing ain't going away. So, I don't know, man. Like, it just... So, for rage quitting, though, I think it has to be probably at least 3 things that you don't like. A couple things are annoying, then there's that one thing that maybe slowly dawn on you. The Bambi thing was there all along. Booth's stupid-ass interrogation scheme was there all along. It's almost like, lead poison or whatever, or allergies maybe in a better example. You don't start off the first time you ever bite an orange, if you have an allergy to oranges. You don't start off the first time you bite, you drop dead. Maybe you just get a little bit of a burning sensation in your tongue the first time. Next time, maybe your skin's all itchy. The third time, it just builds up. There's like each time your body hates it more, and then you get to a point where you need a shot in your neck to keep from suffocating. You didn't start there, but you got there eventually. I think that's why some of these annoyances with these shows are. There's enough there to like. There was a lot of good things that Bones did. That's why I liked it. That's why I stuck with it for so long. There's a lot of good things they did, but the annoyances just eventually overcame anything good the show was doing. Like I told you, there's some good stuff in Death Note. There's some very interesting stuff in Death Note. And eventually the annoyances just got to be too much. So I think that's really the bottom line for rage quitting. I think it is. It's one of those things where it may be a rule of three. That's what I'm thinking. And ones that I can remember is a rule of three. There was like 3 different things that was annoying. But then you finally get that final uppercut that takes you out. So I think that's the key to it. And I think what we'll do here is we will table this for now. I would like to get some comments and feedback. I'd like to get some examples of you rage quitting things. Specific reasons. Here's the thing. If you want to be vague about why you rage quit, just tell me the show. If you want to be specific about why you rage quit, don't tell me the show. Just tell me a show did this and that pissed me off. That way I won't be spoiled if I'm going to watch a potential show, unless it's a show I've already seen. You know, because really what I want to do is I want to kind of dig into some of your reasons why. And I failed to set this up ahead of time like I typically do. So I didn't get any comments on this. So we'll revisit this in 2 weeks with the next podcast. I'll have another main topic then, but this will just be like a follow-up segment. Because I'm not really watching other animation right now other than, Batman. I've already talked about that several times. So instead of the other animation segment this time, I'm going to talk about the 4 new anime I watched. And next time, instead of other animation, I'll talk about the follow-up on this. We'll do a follow-up on this in 2 weeks. Let me make a note of that now. Because I work a lot better off of feedback for things like this. Because I know why I rage quit. But I'm curious, there's got to be other people who rage quit for other reasons. So what I want to know about, have you ever rage quit over a single issue? Just one thing, like you love the show up until this. And then that was the one thing you're like, oh, I'm done. Could be a character death. I rage quit Game of Thrones twice. First time I rage quit was something that happened in episode 9 of season 1. And the second time I rage quit was something that happened in episode 9 of season 3. And then I finally came back and I started with season 5. I skipped season 4 entirely. And the last episode of season 3. So I missed 11 episodes. Jumped into season 5. Watched it from there to the end of season 5, I think. And then there was a year in between seasons. Then I caught up on what I'd missed on the DVDs. But it was really Dad. Dad wanted me to watch it with him. So I watched season 5 with him. Then I went back and caught up what I'd missed. But I rage quit twice. Both times it was a solitary incident. So that happened. So have you ever rage quit for a single reason? Or is it like a pattern of annoyance that you just can't ignore anymore? Or is it something that grows over time and it started off annoying and just got worse and worse and worse and finally you just quit? Which of those scenarios was it with you? I'm very curious. We will follow up in 2 weeks. All right, in the meantime, let's go ahead and talk about those 4 new anime. Here's the interesting thing. It started off grim for my favorite one, which I will talk about first. It started out bad. It only had 1 or 2 views and 1 like. Now, it still only has 3 likes, but it is up to 57 views, and that can be dangerous. And I'm talking about I may be a guild receptionist, but I'm a escort worker at night or whatever the hell it is. I want to solo the boss before I lose my job or whatever. Whatever the hell it is. It's a long name, I can't remember. But I just call it guild receptionist. Great show. I saw the first episode. That's going to be true for all these. It was my favorite of the 4 things I watched. Great sense of humor. I love a good sense of humor. I love a strong protagonist. I love an irritable, angry character, which she is. Plus, she's a badass. Great outfit. And her motivation is hilarious. She just doesn't want to have to work overtime. Like, very relatable. So, what's not to love? Like, I absolutely love that show. So, that was a really good time. But here's the danger of this. This has happened before. This ain't my first rodeo. It's why I don't really do polls anymore for shows. I did a poll. Which one are you most excited about? I may factor that in a little bit. Dan won the poll. And I believe has the most likes. Has a lot of comments. Only has the 3rd most views of. But see, views are weird because 57 views for Guild Receptionist. But what if that was 50 people that came in, watched 2 minutes, and was like, this sucks, and left, and will never come back? So I keep doing the series, and only 7 people are watching. That's happened quite a bit. You can't trust the numbers of the first episode you watch. So that's why, for me, it's more about comments and likes. those are fungible. Those transfer over to future episodes. Views don't necessarily do, and poll results don't necessarily do. I had like 60 people say they wanted me to watch Boardwalk Empire. I spent hours and hours watching the whole first season, editing the whole first season, and I was getting like 10, 15 views an episode. 60 people voted for it, but they didn't stick around to watch it. So they have to be walking by their timeline, see a poll, say, oh, I like that show, I recognize that show name, and just clicked on it, but then never came back to the channel. So I don't trust polls. I don't trust polls, and I don't trust views. What I trust is likes and comments. And so that's why I wonder if the 57 views for Guild Receptionist are empty calories. Is it a trick? Is it something that's not going to transfer? So I'll do one more episode of that. But I'm cautiously optimistic. I think there's a good chance those 57 views can be empty calories. Now, Solo Leveling got the second most views with 42, but it also got 3 comments, and Guild Receptionist has gotten no comments, by the way. But yeah, Solo Leveling got 42 views, 3 comments, and like 8 likes. So that's, I feel a lot better about that. You know, that's almost, it's about 20, maybe a little bit less than 20% of people who watched it gave it a like. That's really good. And comments. And I liked it. Solo Leveling, I liked the mythology. It's the only one of these 4 I'd ever heard of. I've actually heard of it, referenced quite a bit. It seems to be the most popular anime out there right now. So I'm definitely going to do that. And I'm going to do Dadan. My naming convention isn't working. It got 36 views, 6 comments, and 9 likes and 1 dislike. So out of 36 views, a good, like almost a third, we're talking about like 28% either gave it a like or a dislike. That's a high, very high percentage of the total likes. The total view, the views versus likes ratio is the most important metric you can have. You have videos. Well, like on Instagram, you notice it too. Like I saw this with Peyton List. Yeah, Peyton List, the one that was on the Disney Channel. She had like 10 million followers, but she was only getting like 40,000 likes for each photo. So that sounds like a lot. 40,000 likes, I'll never get 40,000 likes cumulative over the entire Instagram history of my life. But that is a very small percentage of 10 million people. So that means almost nobody, a lot of people follow her, but almost nobody looks at or gives a shit about her photos. You know, she had 1 million likes. That's a very strong percentage, especially on Instagram. It's a little bit different here on YouTube. But on YouTube, like if you can get 15% or more engaging of the total people who watch your shit, engaging with it, that's really good. That's a good percentage. That means they're actually watching your shit. They give a shit. They care. So, of the 4, the only one I'm dropping for sure is My Dress Up Darling. I liked it. Apparently, it's what I really like about it was a woman. Apparently, is a manga author. So she's fan servicing herself, which it looked like male gaze to me. It looked like a male author, typical shit. But it does make sense once you tell me that the woman wrote it. That the guy is he's a sewer. What do they call it? I guess he's just a costume maker. He's a costume maker, kind of a feminine job. You're kind of feminizing the man a little bit, which is really cool. I like that. Anything that breaks normal, boring-ass stereotypes is really interesting to me. But it makes more sense that a woman would do that. You know, and she's an interesting character. She's kind of psychotic. So it all really works well for me. I liked it, but, you know, not enough to keep watching with only 26 views, 1 comment, and 5 likes. You know, so that's the clear loser here. The other 3 I'm going to give a shot. I feel really good about the Dadan and Solo Leveling. I think they have legs. I think that they will maintain their stamina for the whole season. I think 1 or both of those have a second season. As far as Guild Receptions, I think there's only 5 or 6 episodes that are out so far. We'll see. Maybe it'll pick up an audience, especially like later people come back to it. But so I will do those 3. I don't know when because I'm way behind this month. Like there's so much shit going on this month. I keep having to do these nighttime drives. Like this Friday, I'm leaving at 9 p.m. tonight, Friday night. Getting to the gig at 10. The gig runs from 10 to 1 a.m. Getting home at 2 a.m. Saturday morning. Leaving again for a second gig 7:45 a.m. the same morning. So I'll only be home for 5 hours. 5.5 hours. Leaving again for a gig that will take most of the day. The place is in Virginia. It's like over 2 hours away. So driving that night, 2-hour round trip, getting back in time for 5.5 hours, leaving again for a 4-hour round trip. So I've had to shift my sleep to where I'm taking a nap from 5 p.m. until about 9 p.m. every day. I've been doing this for 2 straight days. This is the second straight day. I'm recording now at 2 a.m. Stay up all day. Try to get to the point where I stay up so that I can go to sleep. My goal is Thursday and Friday to go to sleep at 1 p.m. and wake up at 7 or 8, right? Maybe go to sleep at 2 and wake up at 7 or 8. I only sleep about 5 or 6 hours, but do that. So that I can leave the house at 9 p.m. Friday. Do that gig, come back, not go to sleep for the 5.5 hours, just get some work done. Still be up for the drive to Virginia until I come back, which will be about 6 or 7 p.m. that Saturday, right? Then I can get back to normal sleeping schedule. But I did that because I don't want to be in a position where I come back at 2 a.m., go to sleep for 2 or 3 hours, and have to get back up and drive. Because that, at my age, that ain't the move, man. I would be so damn tired if I even got to sleep, right? So it wouldn't work. So I'm not counting on it. I'm counting on just waking up and that be a normal day, right? The 2 drives just be part of my normal day. But the downside of that is it's really affecting my work. Just everything's jacked up right now. I have no energy. It's really hard to get things done. It takes a lot of focus and concentration, and the sleep schedule being what it is, and other shit, So this has been a rough week, on top of all the other rough weeks with all the other shit I've been doing. The side gigs are killing me. I'd really like to be the only thing I do, but that won't be happening anytime soon. But the side gigs make it possible to keep doing as much as I do, so I'm not complaining. I'm just saying that this week especially is going to be brutal. So, and then we're only 11 days away from the end of the month when I have to have certain things done, so we got that going on. So next week maybe I'll do at least one more episode of each one of these. Well, the 3. And maybe make them regular Sunday drops or something. So we'll see. But yeah, I talked about Guild Receptionist. I love the main character. I love the setup. I love the world building. I love the premise, and the comedy is top notch. The Dan, it has the benefit of having Luffy's voiceover actress, which I didn't recognize. Several people told me about it. I did not recognize that. But it was just so out there. And I wasn't expecting that level of, sexual content, I guess I would say. Just, you don't really encounter that in anime. I wasn't ready for that. I wasn't expecting it. Now, people cuss in anime. Eat shit and die, you shitty brats. They drop the F-bomb all over the place. But she was talking about eating his wiener, right? It's just, that took me by surprise. That punched me in the gut. I don't think I recovered for the rest of the episode. It was wild, man. I was not expecting it. I think it's a show I could probably like. I think it was Chainsaw Man. It's part of the Chainsaw Man coaching tree, right? One of the writers from that went to do this. So I can see some of the same vibe. And it's interesting that, modern anime it's very energetic. But I don't know, man. It hasn't gripped me yet. But I can see that happening. I can see the possibility of it gripping me. So I'm not opposed to it. I'm just not enthusiastic about it. I'm enthusiastic about Guild Receptionist. And I'm enthusiastic about solo leveling because the world building there is phenomenal. Very interesting. Suddenly you have portals open up and they have to go into the portals and do all this shit. The characters are interesting so far. So I can see myself really falling in love with solo leveling and Guild Receptionist. Potentially that could happen for Dan. Yeah, so we'll see. But yeah, this went really well. I remember the last time I did one of these things where I did like 3 or 4 anime. They all got shit views, like all of them. At least here we've got some really good potential for at least people wanting to see my shit, which is always my goal. So yeah, it's looking pretty good. I'm glad I did that. That was a good experience. It was a wild way to get there too because I ran through about a dozen show names. I downloaded 4 a couple weeks ago. Ended up watching Guild Receptionist and Dress Up Darling. Didn't watch the other 2 things I downloaded. I don't even remember what they were now. Let me check real quick. That might be interesting. I'm not going to do them now. But like I could have done it. If I'd had time the next day, I would have done them. Oh, Gotcha Kuta was one of them. And Hiroki Dies, whatever the hell that was. The titles are in Japanese. But it's that Hiroki Rui dies, tombstone, whatever, comes back to life, he might die. Whatever the hell that's called. That one and the Gotcha Kuta were the other 2 things I downloaded. And people were talking about they wanted me to see those. So I downloaded those 4. Ended up watching, and I thought I was going to like the other 2. So the first things I watched was the 2 things I thought I wasn't going to like. Turned out I liked them. Then ended up doing 2 entirely different shows when it finally got around to it. So, but both of those shows have done pretty well. Because I wouldn't have done the Dan if I had done these other 2. So that's just how it worked out. Well, I've got them if I ever want to see them. All right, hot take. All right, this is going to require a little prep work. Okay, here we go with the hot take. Can we please stop it with the stupid ass attack names in anime? I did a short about this recently where 7 Deadly Sins has some of the best attack names. Man, it just be badass, man. Divine Retribution. God wants you punished. Divine Retribution. And I have a terrible memory for remembering these. That's why I had to do some research to figure out, remind myself what the worst attack names are. I didn't want to do too much of a deep dive into it. The One Piece attack names are the ones I watch at the most. It annoys me the most. There are a few attack names in some other anime that I remember being annoyed by, but don't remember specifically what they are. I don't even remember the cool ones for 7 Deadly Sins. Divine Retribution, I remember. Maybe Heaven's Judgment. Shit like that is cool. I think the problem here is we've just had now 30, 40 years of anime. I know anime goes back to the 60s, but, modern, and I'm including One Piece up, from 1990 up, right? The last 40 years, I guess, of anime and manga. Just in that time period, we've gone through all the cool names. There are no cool names left. It's like trying to find a screen name on any social media these days. No, there are no good screen names left. They're all taken. Shadow Dog is a stupid screen name, and I had to be Shadow Dog Prod because Shadow Dog was already taken. It's a stupid name and it had already been taken. So even the stupid names are taken. Now you just got to go for the really, really dumbass names. That's all that's left. So stop it. Just don't do attack names. Why does every attack have to have a name anyway? Ooh, this is my special move. And it has to have a name. Because it's a special move. Like, I know that's a trope. It's a convention. It's beyond a trope. It's a convention in anime. But I think we've scraped the bottom of the barrel of names. Now, I did see a comment. I was looking briefly. I was going to try to find some dumbass names in other anime, but it went down a rabbit hole, so I stopped. But while in that rabbit hole, I saw an interesting comment. Somebody said that's why sub is always better than dub, because every attack name is cringe in English. Well, you are aware that sub means English subtitles, right? Or whatever language you speak. They were writing in English, so I assume that's what they mean. So it's still in English. If, for instance, Honesty Impact, which is, I made a top 3 list of the most annoying, stupid-ass names in One Piece. Honesty Impact's one of them. Ooh, I'm honest, so let me hit you. The hell does that mean? These words don't even go together, man. That's one of the biggest problems. You get to a point now where you just have words that don't go together. Just shove them together. I know that Sanji has a whole convention. half of the attack is some kind of cooking dish, and the other half is what, some kind of ideal or something. I don't remember. So maybe you'd end up with blush pizza. Ooh, there's an exciting attack name. Honestly, Impact's stupid, but we're at a point where it's like, you just have to put random shit together now. Now I know Colby's known for his honesty, so that's where he's going with that, but it's still stupid. It just, I think we need to pave a new direction. Now, they don't give a shit what I think. They're going to keep doing what they do. But for me, I'm over. I'm over the stupid ass names. If you can't think of cool names, just don't think of any. Don't do a name. There's no way you thought Honesty Impact was a cool ass name. And then there's that dumbass giraffe on One Piece. Pasta Machine was an actual attack he used. Oh, I got sidetracked. I was just going to say, they were talking about the everything sounds cooler in Japanese. For the audio part of it, sure. Maybe these sounded worse because I don't listen to the dub. Maybe these attack names are even worse when you hear it in English. But for me, the subtitles enough cringe. It's already cringe. Pasta Machine isn't any better hearing it in Japanese. And it isn't any worse hearing it in English. You still said Pasta Machine. I saw it in the dub. I saw it in the subtitles. Right there. Pasta Machine. Those two words put together as your attack name. It doesn't matter I didn't hear it in English. It's still cringe. So, I don't think it actually matters. I do think some things sound cooler in Japanese. I agree with that. Japanese is a beautiful language. I've been listening to it for years now. It's a gorgeous language. Things do sound better in Japanese, but this ain't one of them. A shitty attack is still a shitty attack in any language. But the worst one I've ever seen, the worst, not only attack name, but actual attack. Galaxy Wink. Like, the whole winking thing, like, come on, man. Like, what's next? We're going to slap our ass cheeks together and that's an attack? Why does literally every part of the body have to be a way to attack people? Wink, he's winking at people and kicking their asses. And people tried to retcon this shit. They tried to rationalize it with, he can slam his eyelids together so powerfully that it actually causes a shockwave that messes people up, or like it was actually his chakra or whatever, or his haki. It was actually his haki, right? It wasn't the literally weakest part of your entire body, other than maybe your asshole lips. Closing together, your eyelids are the weakest ass part of your body. This isn't gonna hurt a fly, man. I couldn't catch a mosquito by closing my eyelids. Yeah, he's stronger than me. He's got superpowers. He's got hockey. I don't give a shit. It's eyelids, man. You're not slapping your eyelids together and attacking people. It's dumb as hell. I said it at the time. I'm saying it now. A wink attack is just stupid. You're at the bottom of the barrel. You have scraped the bottom of the barrel. You can't think of anything else. That was hundreds of episodes ago. He's had all kinds of cool attacks since then. You could have given Ivan anything. A wink ain't it, man. That's not hitting. So yeah, that's the worst attack I've ever seen in any anime ever. Not just One Piece. The wink is stupid and the name is even worse. Galaxy Wink. Jesus. Bad. It's bad and you should feel bad. So, that's my hot take. What's the dumbest attack name you've ever seen? Preferably an anime I haven't watched, but even if I have. I don't think you can top Galaxy Wink, but try me. I want to see an attack name that is worse than this. Actually, you know what? I just ran across this. I hadn't closed all the tabs yet. Dumbest Sailor Moon attack names. Isn't Sailor Moon, isn't she married? The woman who did Sailor Moon, isn't she married to some famous? She married to the guy who did Naruto? Whoever she's married to, both of them are successful manga writers. And they're both rich from the anime, right? So they got it going on. That's a great power couple. You talk about power couples. That's a really good power couple. Here are some of these attack names. Star Gentle Uterus. Star Gentle Uterus. This is the first one. I'm not doing, I hadn't even looked at these yet. I was like, this ought to be good. Sailor Moon, stupid names. She got stars flying out of her pussy? Like, what is happening here, man? Jupiter Coconut Cyclone is not nearly as dumb as Star Gentle Uterus. Moon Spectre Activation. Mars Fireball Charge. Well, Fireball might be kind of cool. Moon Rainbow Heartache Reform. Well, that's not even fun, stupid. That's just stupid, stupid. You know, that might be the dumbest fucking name I've ever seen. Like, that is worse than Galaxy Wink. Star Gentle Uterus. I can't get over that, man. I'm going to have to close this tab. I can't do this. I'm closing this tab, too. You can go down a really long, really deep rabbit hole about stupid attack names. You should try it sometime. I just did. It's fun, but it's also aggravating. Because that's some dumb shit. Alright, well anyway, let's get to the anime current watching ranks. Now then, like I said, I'm way behind this week. I still haven't had a chance to watch Fortress Macros. Haven't had a chance to watch Yu Yu. Haven't had a chance to watch Boruto. I did watch some Fate Zero. 1. I need to watch 4. I've only seen 1 so far. Man, that was off the chain. That was crazy. That show is crazy, man. Bodies hitting the floor. There's only 3 episodes left, so I expect it to be a bloodbath. But man, it's brutal. No holds barred. Even the backstory's got hands. You know, that's a great show. But Fortress Macros, Yu Yu, Boruto, Gate Zero, which is I've seen a couple of those recently. This is really good. They keep killing off my girl, which pisses me off. And like I said, Fate Zero. Then for the top 4, we've got 7 Deadly Sins at number 4. They have the best attack names, though. Galaxy Retribution. Matter of fact, since that's the only one I can think of. Not Galaxy Retribution, Divine Retribution. Let me see if I can find the coolest 7 Deadly Sins attack names, just to give you a better idea of what I'm talking about. Nope, I can't really find anything. Like, here's what I searched. Coolest 7 Deadly Sins attack names. Here's what they gave me. 10 strongest magical abilities for 7 Deadly Sins. Is that what I asked you, you son of a bitch? For the third from the top result? The first 2 were just about the show, right? And then 2 down from that. What are the top 7 deadliest characters from the 7 Deadly Sins? That's not what I effing asked you, man. Do what I... This is why I hate searches. That's why Google sucks. Do what the hell I ask you. And only what I ask you. Don't be giving me no shit that had nothing to do with that, you know? Anyway, yeah, 7 Deadly Sins, they have the cool-ass names, man. Just back-to-back. Like, there was an episode recently that got me off on this. It was like 3 or 4 straight attack names were some of the coolest shit I've ever seen in my life. And these are relatively recent anime. But somehow, like One Piece, who didn't have as much competition for cool names, comes up with Galaxy Wink. Ugh. Anyway, Gintama is number 3. I have something special planned for the next time I record some Gintama. I record ahead, by the way. So I'm all the way up to the mid-40s or some shit. So we're not... Yeah, I'm like 2 weeks ahead. 2-3 weeks ahead on Patreon. But I'm going to record in a day or 2. And I bought a special prop. So it ought to be a lot of fun. I hadn't interacted with this prop in like 25 years. So... see if you can guess what I'm talking about here. You might. It's possible. You have enough information to guess it. But I bought a special prop. I'm looking forward to that. It's a great show. They got at least once every recording session. Typically, I do 6 episodes in a recording session. At least one of those 6 episodes has got me on the floor, laughing my ass off, having to stop the recording. That's how funny that shit is. That is one funny-ass show, man. But they do try to get emotional sometimes. Don't be trying to get emotional. Look, you're a comedy show. I don't care about character development. I don't care about character backstories. I don't care why you do what you do or why you're an asshole. Just stick with the funny, man. Of course, the more we love the characters, the more we know about the characters, the more we love them. The more we love them, the funnier they'll be. I get it. The writer's definitely better than me. They know what they're doing. I'm just saying. The episodes where it's just they're trying to be emotional instead of funny, not as good. So stick with the funny. JoJo, number 2. Great finale to Stardust Crusaders. Now, I just can't believe I did this twice for the same series. So annoying. So annoying. I swear to God, man. Like, the problem with this series is... Here's my biggest problem with this series. Season 1 had 2 story arcs. So, it'll always be a question of... Does the search think I'm talking about Season 4, or do they think I'm talking about story arc number 4? Or Season 5, or do they think I'm talking about story arc number 5? So I searched, what is the effing name of... Because each story arc has a different name. What's the goddamn effing name of the 4th story arc of JoJo Bizarre Adventure? Like I was just saying, Google sucks ass. So I searched that shit. It comes back with some golden shower. Like, you get a golden shower. Like, apparently the show's going to pee on you or something. I don't know. Something about a golden shower. So I said, all right, cool. Look it up on the thing where I get the thing. I fire up the first episode and I watch the first episode of this golden shower thing, and I'm completely lost. I don't know what the hell's going on. But that's every new story arc for JoJo. And they had Joestar and Joe Torre. They had him in it, and a couple of other characters, but it was specifically him. And so I watch it. I get done with it. I'm like, there was just a couple things they talked in there that was a little weird. Didn't quite add up. There's something just wasn't feeling right. So I searched again. The exact same goddamn parameters. What's the 4th story arc of JoJo's Bizarre Adventure? And I must have typed something a little bit different, like 1 letter different or some shit. But this time, he came up with Diamonds Are Forever. Is the 4th story arc. So at this point, I'm like, what the hell is going on here? I'd already watched the first episode of this golden shower thing, right? So I go to the effing, which is what I should have done in the first place, the effing JoJo's Bizarre Adventure Wikipedia, where they have all the story arcs ranked in chronological order. Not ranked, listed in chronological order. Now, I'll be goddamn if this Diamonds Are Forever wasn't the 4th story arc. It's preceded by Stardust Crusaders, and it's followed by Golden Showers. So, here again, for the second goddamn time in the series history, I watched an episode out of order. Already don't really remember what was going on. Something, guys spit out some fingers, I don't know. Dude had really stupid hair. I'm kind of glad I'm not watching it. His hair was... You think attack names are stupid. His hair was dumb as hell. It was bad. So... I'm glad I'm not watching that. I'm glad we went to something else. So then I watched the first episode of Diamonds Are Forever. So I'll stick with that. And at least there... Now, it's still got some horrific shit. Body possession, all this shit. It's good. It's really good. The new season looks like it's going to be great. I've only seen the 1 episode. But at least that was making more sense. And, not much time had passed between it and Stardust Crusaders. But man, why is it so goddamn confusing? Why is this and 7 Deadly Sins, why do they have to have a different name for every effing story arc? Just run this shit together, man. Just episode, we're up to 72, right? This should have just been episode 73. Why does that have to be a completely different categorized thing? Why can't it just be episode 73, 74, 75? I would never make a mistake if that was the case, but no. Let's start off with what happened the first time, which let's just do Stardust Crusaders and not even animate the first 2 story arcs. Just start there. And even then, they started, Jesus Christ, man. 30 episodes into the story arc was their first episode of what they were animating. I don't know how the hell I got on that, but that was what I watched that first time I watched it. That was crazy. But, I don't know, man. It's just... JoJo's one of the most complicated ass shows. That, with 7 Deadly Sins, I have to keep checking with Ariel. Hey, am I watching the right shit? Because I don't even know, because I watched something of that out of order too. But that was I think it was 2 or 3 or 4. It was at least 2 episodes out of order. maybe 4. That was worse. Here, at least, I was only ever going to watch the 1 episode, so people would have called me out on it. But I caught it before, and so I've got it recorded. Someday, I guess, 38 episodes from now, because it's Diamonds Are Forever is 39 episodes. I guess 38 episodes from now, I'll already have an episode recorded. So there we are. God, it's stupid. That's my other hot take. Can we just have the episodes? We don't need to be a completely different name every time you change story arcs, man. It's just too confusing. Ain't nobody keeping track of all that shit. Release dates don't mean nothing in anime because sometimes it's when it's released in Japan, sometimes when it's released in the United States, sometimes it's when the dub comes out. Man, you can't trust these dates. This ain't my first Boruto. You can't trust this shit. So yeah, annoying as hell. Anyway, though, that aside, how they ended Stardust Crusaders was phenomenal. And what can I say about One Piece? It's number 1 right now. Every episode's been a banger. I've been doing the rewind for 4 episodes now, and just that makes me appreciate the show even more. And all 4 of these episodes have been flashbacks, unfortunately, but really good flashbacks, fortunately. So, mixed bag. But yeah, man, like that's my rank for this week. And that's podcast. I have a feeling this one's going to be fairly short. Why would that be? I just didn't have as much to say about the main topic. I think it's the biggest thing. You know, but I don't know. I mean, we'll have more next time. I'm not sure what the topic's going to be. Always looking for your suggestions there. But in addition to that, I want to follow up on the Rage Queen thing as an actual segment, not just in the Q&A. So what I'll do is any comments for that, I will just incorporate into the actual follow-up segment rather than the regular Q&A. So, but yeah, man, see you in 2 weeks. It's been a wild 2 weeks. The next 2 weeks ain't gonna get any easier for me because, like I told you, I got that 5-hour turnaround. That's gonna be rough. So, assuming I survive that shit and don't get crashed because I'm too tired, then I'll see you in 2 weeks.